Hello, everyone, and welcome to Daily David Weekly, episode 3. And it's a very exciting one today, guys. It is the 12th anniversary of the show. That's right. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm laughing because it sounds like a joke, but it's actually true. We are 12 years old here today. I should clarify, as I said in the first episode, to be fair, that this is a rebooted version of Daily David Weekly, and of course, the first version does go back into my ancient history. Now, fortunately, I do still have access to those sacred episodes, and so I thought today it might just be a little fun change of pace to listen to the absolute inane bullshit that I was talking about back then. Actually, that might be a little bit unfair. I think there's an argument to be made that the original Daily David Weekly is more entertaining than the current incarnation, but we're trying our best. The show's gonna get better, guys. uh, so, gosh, this is the episode where I have my full breakdown. We only made it 3 episodes in. So now we're just going to listen to a few excerpts from the original Daily David Weekly. These were recorded in January 2012. I would have been 14 going on 15, but very much just a big loser. Let's kick things off with my account of a jab I received that week at school, which arguably drifts into slightly anti-vax territory towards the end. So this is the moment I get cancelled.
It's a good feeling to be immune to stuff. So that was that. That was Wednesday. And to be honest, though, I think there was something bad going on because the next day I was ill. I was ill the day after I had an injection, and I was just like, there's got to be some kind of coincidence, some kind of link, okay? Because people don't just get ill on days after they've had injections if there wasn't something wrong with the injection or if they didn't have an effect of the injection. So I think I did. I think I had an effect. Or either that, or someone's trying to assassinate me again. To be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if it was that because, I have made some incredibly powerful enemies. That's the sad truth here. And, that's just the consequence of having an incredibly colourful life. That's what I've had. Let's face it, none other than a very colourful life.
So straight away, there's a lot to unpack. First of all, I don't know why I sound the way I do. I feel like there were real moments in these original episodes where my accent kind of drifts into sort of like Somerset or Cornwall or some kind of accent which I never really was aware that I had. So I don't know if I was putting that on for the episode or if that was a genuine thing, but it would be an interesting thing to look into. But if you think that we've reached peak nonsense, then you've got another thing coming, buddy, because this podcast is only just getting started, and I go on to talk about some dreams I've been having recently, and let me tell you that this one has a twist you will not see coming.
The first dream I had, I was at school and I was standing with my friends, and then Conan the Barbarian, the big warrior guy from those films, he was just walked into our school. And I was just like, what? Because this guy, he's not a child and he is not a teacher. He is a barbarian and he is he just kills stuff. And so said to my friends, guys, I think this guy is going to kill us. And they were just like, oh, David, no, don't be so ridiculous. No, 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 no. And I was just like, guys, I think he is. He's a barbarian, let's face it. So I decided to go up to him, and I was just about to say, hey, Conan, why are you here? When I woke up. That's typical, isn't it? Waking up just as things get interesting. That always happens to me.
He's a barbarian, let's face it. I mean, that's words to live by, isn't it, really? In stark contrast, though, to that absolute banger dream that we just heard, there comes a second dream story, which is so boring that I can't believe I ever deigned it worthy of being on the air. Let's listen.
The other dream was just plain dull. I'm not gonna lie. It was a dream where I was in a supermarket. It was a pretty generic supermarket. It could have been anything. Asda, Sainsbury's, I don't know. And I was just buying a weekly shop, you know? And then at the moment I woke up was the moment I picked up a bag of frozen peas. Who knows? Who knows what that was about? So those were the dreams. Any ideas? I thought it was a bit of a stupid couple of dreams to have.
Was I okay? I guess this is what I was I going through some kind of breakdown or something which I've now repressed. Because I don't remember being this fucking weird. Onwards now to a bizarre moment of childhood trauma. Uh, this is. I have no words.
I used to have some very exciting dreams. They were mainly dreams. Well, they were mainly nightmares, really, because I died in every single one. Yeah, I know. And the main reason that I died was because Harry Hill murdered me. Yeah, because Harry Hill, the bald guy with glasses, you probably know him. He's quite famous now. Um, I used to be, I used to find him funny, but at the same time, I used to be kind of scared of him when I was little. And I kept on having dreams that Harry Hill lived in my wall, and that at night, he came out of my wall and he tried to kill me. I can, it doesn't sound that bad right now because I'm older now, but it happened, and I got these dreams from the age of like 6 to the age of around 9 or 10. For 4 years, Harry Hill was just terrorizing me. You have no idea how that feels, man. No idea.
And now, on to perhaps the biggest bombshell of the episode. I started this podcast by saying that we would be listening to the first ever edition of Daily David Weekly, but as it turns out, there is another. I'll let my younger self explain.
I have already made a podcast, okay? This technically is an episode 1. This is kind of episode 2, because last Sunday actually, so it's exactly a week ago, I I made a podcast, okay, which I'm not very proud of. It was basically just it was meant to be like a news show about movies and stuff, but it just wasn't very good. Mainly because I laughed at the very beginning, because I was just so nervous. So yeah, it didn't go very well, and a few people managed to listen to it before I deleted it. That's annoying. But, you know, basically, it's gone. Anyway,
But is that true, David? Because I don't think it is gone. And in fact, we have it here today. So I'm not going to dwell too long on this even earlier episode of Daily David Weekly, the failed episode, but I do just want to play the intro of that episode because it's simply too good not to.
hello, you're listening to the Entertainment Network podcast, episode 1, with me, David Craig. Sorry. In this podcast, we're going to be looking at the biggest movie video game. I'm going crazy right now. As I speak, it's very late on a Sunday night, and I'm not myself. Let me just start that again.
Now let's go back to the main episode that we were talking about earlier and let's just admire the outro in all of its chaotic glory.
Alright, I'm running out of things to talk about. I might wrap this up because let's face it, hasn't been very good. Next week will probably be better because I won't have a cold, so I'll be less annoying to listen to. Let's face it, I'll still be quite annoying, but I will be less annoying. So, to wrap up, thank you for listening, because if nobody listens, I'm not going to make any more.
That's another lie.
Also, go to my blog / website. It's at http:// media features and more.blogspot.com / and that's all one word, all lowercase.
That's really catchy, David. Great choice on the name.
If you're listening to this because you're a good friend, then thank you. If you're listening to this because you want to take a mic, then thank you as well. Just because, still one more listen. And if you're listening to this because you're a stranger and you just really like devilishly handsome teenagers, then thank you.
Don't go there, David. Come on. Jesus, man. Have some class.
Yeah. So that pretty much wraps it up.
Now, of course, it's very easy to make fun of how utterly bizarre this was, but in some ways, I kind of admire it. You know, I was putting myself out there. I was taking some big swings, and it didn't pay off. But you gotta try, right? You only regret the choices that you don't make. Isn't that one of those bullshit phrases? But I'm kind of impressed that in some ways I'm more eloquent in that original Daily David Weekly than I am now. I mean, last week's episode took so long to edit because I was umming and ahhing and stuttering and, having to retake every 5 seconds. And, that was a one take podcast. That's what I'm aspiring to now. What did I have back then that I've lost? I mean, that's a topic for another episode perhaps. But this has been a really fun thing to look back on, and I'm glad that I still have it. It's such an interesting little time capsule. And there is a second episode, which I have not listened to recently, and I'm trying to decide whether or not to do some kind of live reaction or another breakdown of it. I don't know if it's going to be as good, as funny, as utterly life affirming as this one has been. But we may get to it in a future episode. But for now, I'm going to sign off.